Well, Ella she comes right out.
I mean, you barely sat down and she went to your camera.
I wasn't even set and ready to roll.
She's like, no, she's not taking any chances today. She's just going to roll.
No, agreed.
She's doing what she wants.
Absolutely. Well,
she is officially 17, babe.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it was her birthday. We have to say happy birthday to our little girl.
Yep.
I plugged in pictures here, Ella, and I'm making you put them up.
Yep, there it is. Oh, there she is in Breckenridge.
Little Scrappy.
One of our favorite spots.
Her nickname is Scrappy. She got that name when she was really tiny because she was very feisty.
Yes.
And she had a very gravelly smokers type voice.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to turn her into a singer.
Yeah.
I was ready to turn her into a singer. But keep going. I got more pictures in there.
Oh,
I love that one.
Cute
You always picked out your favorite outfits, and that was one of your favorites.
Yep.
With your little red shiny boots and your little dress and your fake glasses. You wore fake glasses for years, which I ran into your preschool teacher not very long ago, and she goes, does she still wear those fake plastic frames? I'm like, no, she outgrew that. She did outgrow that. So,
yes.
And then you could show a recent picture. Go ahead.
Come on,
I put
Ella.
a recent one. Come on, Ella. I know this is painful for you.
I know. Here we go.
This is awful, everybody.
No, it's not awful.
Those two are awful.
Yeah,
okay.
no,
Those are great.
There's Ella.
They look great, Ella.
Happy 17th birthday, Ella. Turning 17th on the 17th. Her golden birthday.
And I haven't gotten any gold yet.
Yep.
No gold. Sorry.
It's a cold world out there, you know?
I feel really, real bad.
You got it tough.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about that.
So tell us what we're doing on the show today.
Okay.
Because it's stacked.
Yes, we have finance numbers in for the governor's race, and they are all at the same time incredibly interesting, incredibly encouraging, and incredibly depressing. So they're all that's mixed in. You're going to get something and everything. I watched the mayor's debate on KOAT, and we pulled sound, so you don't have to watch it all if you don't want to.
That's right.
We pulled some highlights that are amusing, to say the least. There's no question about that. And then we also have a little bit of No Kings highlights. There's some funny stuff in the No Kings stuff. And then why the No Kings doesn't matter, and we'll explain very much why. There are deeper issues here, and you can have the protest culture all you want. You can absolutely do that, encourage it in this country, but there are reasons why this is just going to be absolutely like sands through the hourglass, and no one is going to be talking about it within
Days of Our Lives.
A little bit. A little bit.
A little throwback to my favorite soap opera.
Yes.
Okay, keep going.
And our favorite Democratic senator is under fire again, but he continues to spit truth. So we'll get into that. We'll get into some of the meme videos, which are rather amusing. And then we'll do a little bit of mailbag from you guys and some of what you had to say. And then, of course, Sunday is game day, and we'll have that as well.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, well, let's start right in. First off, some numbers coming in for the governor's race, these campaign finance reports. They're reported, what, quarterly?
Yes, they're reported quarterly. So these really, what we're about to show you are kind of the 2-quarter aggregate of all the numbers, and they are staggering for Deb Haaland.
Yeah, I mean, look at the amount of money that she has raised. It's just under $7 million.
It's incredible.
That's crazy.
Let me just say this about this. She is going to blow away every record. So the record that was there before was from Michelle in our race. That's going to be blown out of the water, I think, by Haaland alone. Right. I mean, and so her Republican opponent, whoever that is, and we'll see. There is one person in the race who we really like. Greg Hull's a good guy, but there are real problems there. So we'll get into that in a second. But let's go back to Deb Haaland's numbers, because they are staggering. They really are. $6.9 million raised. Okay. Now, two things here. Number one, that number is incredibly impressive. Even when you go look at her individual donors, she has a ton of small dollar donors. That's one of the things we prided ourselves on. We had a ton of small dollar donors. She does in spades, and really deserves a ton of credit for that. Okay, that's a big, big deal, because the reason why is those people keep giving. They keep giving. None of them give a ton, so they give a lot. Okay, and so that's really important, and that is, to me, the most impressive thing about her campaign, no doubt. And when you see the amount of money she's got going now, I think she could top $15 million easy in what she raises.
And I mean, I remember us talking with Jay, you and me and Jay sat down on a conversation over a year ago, and you guys said when she announced she would have a bankroll like we will never see in the history of the state.
She does. Now, let's take a look at the red number on that graphic, though. She is wasting money at a rate which is without peer. It is unbelievable. She spent $4 million already.
Almost 5, if you really look at that number, 4.975. I mean, that's really high. Oh, sorry. I thought it was a 9. It was a 0. Okay, my bad.
Yeah. But still, it doesn't. She'll get there. I promise you. She'll get to 5 soon enough.
Okay.
But the problem is with this, that level at which she's wasting money is unbelievable. There is no reason to have spent $4 million on this race already. Yeah. There's no reason. She should be stockpiling this money to the point where she has a huge war chest going into the first of the year. But so you start saying, oh my gosh, she's going to raise all this money. She's incredibly irresponsible with money. So if you look at where she's spending this money, one of the biggest ones we pulled out of here was her digital firm. Middle seat is her digital firm. Okay. And they've tuned her up to the number of $2+ million. All right. Now, I don't know what they do. I'm sure they're going to be, we put the infrastructure in place and blah, blah, blah.
We put a website. And
they are ripping her off.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There's no way they're not ripping her off. Okay. She's got all kinds of other stuff in there, which I'm not going to get into because I don't know the inner workings of her campaign. Right. All I can tell you is she's getting ripped off.
Yeah.
The DC consultant class, they rip you off if you let them. Okay. Every single candidate in this governor's race is getting ripped off. Okay. I will tell you, this is how this works. These DC consultants come in. They don't know New Mexico. They take every dollar they can from you. Okay. And so Deb Haaland, while you look at some of her numbers and you say, wow, it's really impressive. I still believe in my heart of hearts, the way she spends money and the way she answers questions and her abilities lead me to believe there is still an opening that she can be absolutely beat. So she will be one of those people that will either cruise to victory with a ton of money, or she will be an epic collapse when something develops here after the first of the year and you get a candidate in there that can take her out. I don't think Bregman's going to take her out. I don't. Okay. But let's get to Bregman, right? Mm-hmm. And we should look at his numbers. His numbers are not bad at all.
Okay. So he's raised just under 2.5
in 2 different quarters. Yep.
And then his total expenditures, he's already spent over $1 million as well.
Absolutely. So he's got $1 million left, right? He's got about 1.4 still in his account, but he spent $1 million in the past quarter here. I still think that's way too much money.
Yeah, I mean, is it like name ID? He's trying to get people to know who he is?
Well, if you look at where his spending is, again, he's super consultant heavy. So all these numbers are from consultants. They're all different consultants.
Oh, I think that's our new job. Let's start a consultancy firm.
Oh, it's amazing.
And then we'll just get Democratic money. We'll just be the consultants for the Democrats and get this kind of cash.
I'm telling you, they do the amount of money wasted, I think here is
unreal.
It is staggering. None of this is local. Okay.
Right.
Now I'm sure he's paying his local people money, all that stuff. But J&Z is out of DC, Blueprint's out of DC. So you got people that are out of DC. This is DC consultants going in there and just emptying their bank accounts.
Oh my gosh, okay? I can't wait. We're going to start one. We're going to start our own firm. I don't know what our name's going to be yet, but let's make sure that
Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
Yeah, okay, yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what it's going to be.
And let's make ourselves incorporated out of DC because somehow people are like, DC,
they know what's going on.
They know what's happening.
I'm telling you right now, I see it with local candidates on the Republican side all the time. I'm going to get my DC consultant in here. Your DC consultant doesn't know squat. Your DC consultant knows how to cash a check. Mm-hmm. That's it, okay? So I will tell you, I think it's ridiculous. I think Bregman's wasting some money, but he's doing a good job raising money. It's not inconsequential at all. I think he should. It's impressive. I think what he's done when you consider that Haaland's raised almost $7 million. Yeah. The fact that he's raised 2.4 in 6 months, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Now that's where the Republicans should be, right around 2.4, 2.5 million over 6 months. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now you look at where Greg Hull is, and he's the only announced Republican candidate at this point.
He's raised $329,000.
Right.
And he has spent $130,000
in this past quarter. He spent $130,000. So he basically spent what he raised this past quarter.
Got it.
But the total number over 6 months is $329,000. This is non-competitive. Okay, so the problem right now is if I'm Greg Hull, what I'm concerned with is the fact that I just can't raise money. Mm-hmm. And so now the question is why? Right. Is the question is the number one, do you not have the reach to get some small dollar donors in? Clearly not. Okay. And then not only that, you don't have big donors that are coming in big numbers yet. So now could this be just because they're waiting out to see who else gets in the race? Yeah, that's a possibility.
Mm-hmm. I would think that's probably a very likely reason.
Great. But the problem you have there then is though, you're not creating any buzz. You're not creating any momentum by your own campaign. And so that's why this is a concern to me, if I'm Greg Hull. And again, he had this kind of half launch where he launched and then kind of said, and then he launched again this week.
It makes no sense. I'm not sure why he did that.
Yeah. And again, that's fine and all. It's just that this is not competitive at this point. So he needs to do something here. He needs to raise $1 million between, I would say, October and December. I mean, honestly, you have to get more money in. If you can't, you're just not going to matter. I don't care what you do. I don't care who you are or what you've done. If you can't raise at least $1 million, by the end of the year, you got a huge problem here.
Right.
And again, he's spending basically what he's raising. This past 3 months, he spent what he raised. That's terrible. And if you look at his numbers and who he's doing, he's just this again.
It's consultants, right?
DC consultant firm,
yeah,
Connect
again,
Drink. Okay,
unbelievable.
So again, they're not ripping him off to the tune where Haaland's getting ripped off and Bregman's getting ripped off, but he's not doing anything either because they don't have any money.
Right.
So that is a concern. So those are where the numbers are. And the reason we talk about the numbers and the reason we always talk about fundraising is there is nothing more important at this juncture of the campaign. Nothing. It is what you do. Okay. It is what you do.
And I think people don't understand that is like the bulk of your time. It's 90% of your time. Like it's funny, joking around with your former fundraiser, Jessica, and you and me, and we have jokes quite often. And just about the brutality, like I call and tell her all the time, I just need Mark to help me clean the garage out. Could you yell at him a little bit and make him get in there in the garage and help me clean that out? Because it's a grind. It was you and Jessica every day, like fighting it out to get meetings and calls and sit down with people and travel. And you ask people and you got to prove yourself and talk about all of your policies over and over and over and over for $100 check, $1,000 check, whatever it is, $50, whatever it is. Like,
it's everything. It's everything. You're right.
And you are saying the same thing over and over and over. I remember at night for the first time ever when you ran, you would be out of words. I mean, you're never out of words. You're a guy who likes to talk till 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And when you were running, you by 10 o'clock, there were no more words coming out of your mouth. You were like, I'm done.
Now. Yeah, I borrowed as much as I could against.
I borrowed all my words today.
Yeah.
I've done it all. And
well, you have to be ultimately though, and I have no doubt that all the candidates are going through their lists and everything else. But you have to be a closer. Like you've got to be able to close on donors. You've got to be able to close and get big money out of a ton of donors.
Well,
I'm sorry, that's the job. Haaland does it. Bregman does it. Right now, Hull is struggling with it, clearly judging by the numbers. So, and it's hard too because there aren't that many fundraisers in the state. There's only a few. You've got to honestly develop a fundraiser. You've got to kind of train someone up to help you. And what I mean by that is they get you lists. They do follow-up calls. So you'll have a great call with a donor, right? And the donor's like, yeah, I'll support you. All right, sounds good. You hang up the phone. You got to follow up. You got to be like, hey, Joe, you had a great conversation with my candidate. Can we get you to send the check to, Okay, great. And then when you're doing those calls too, you're literally having a phone call. If you have a big time donor, you got to ask for $10,000+. You got to say it. Yep. You got to say it. Can you max donate to me $10,250 or whatever it is? And can your wife do it too? And can your business do it? Like now, it doesn't always work. Sometimes they're like, nah, I'm not going to invest like that with you yet. I don't believe in you yet.
Let's
right?
wait. Sometimes you have to have multiple meetings, especially for the big.
Oh,
the big
no question.
Donors,
you got fundraisers for that reason.
Yeah.
Everything else. But anyway, this just means that if you don't raise the money, you don't have the reach. You don't. None of these people, especially Haaland has some name ID. Bregman doesn't have much, and Hull has none.
Right.
Okay. So those things are not none, but virtually none.
Right.
I mean, that's the problem. Everybody thinks they're well known.
I know.
There are very few people in the state that are well known. Very few.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
You can be well known in your circle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
you just have to get out of that circle.
Yeah.
And you got to catch fire. And so what Hull's got to be able to do with no one in the race, if Hull could catch fire, what will happen is no one will get in the race. Because there's not people lined up, right? They're not all lined up.
I think people are still waiting to see.
Well, I know. I think you're right.
Before they announce.
Yeah, I think it's true.
I really believe that we're going to see more candidates going in there in the race come January.
Yeah, and I think it's a real possibility. And again, you may, and again, you could get some people that either can be well-known or self-funders or something like that. All that stuff could happen. But I think right now, Hull is missing an opportunity. If he can catch fire, though, then it could be something different. So we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what ends up happening.
Okay, so let's shift back real quick to a quick recap on the mayor debate that happened this week. We had Darren White on. He's the Republican candidate that's running against Keller. He's believed to be, based on all the data we've seen, that he has the best chance of coming in second place under Keller, which would lead to a runoff is kind of what is the anticipation. Because
you have to have 50%.
Right. You have to have 50%.
To win the mayorship.
They don't believe that Keller will get 50%, so it's going to be him plus whoever gets the second highest,
right.
correct?
And I will say, want to thank. We should say this to our people watching the show. What the numbers that we've seen on this show in the past 3 months have been staggering to us.
Yeah.
So we're on YouTube alone. The Darren White episode got 15,000 views, and episodes going back are in those number ranges. Those numbers are huge, and we appreciate that because we're seeing this growth, and then that's not even counting the podcast feed,
right? Exactly.
Listen.
Right.
So this is really. We are so thankful for that and
Absolutely.
your interest in it and people kind of diving in. So thank you. Keep telling people because we're getting numbers now that you just don't get in a lot of other places. So we are thrilled with that. But Darren kind of caught on there.
Well, and I just want to add to that really quick, if I can, that make sure that if you are watching us on YouTube, that you hit that subscribe number because that does also help us significantly. And if you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify, please rate and review us, like us on there as well. That all helps, and it helps keep us going. And if you want to help us support us in different ways, go onto our website, nodoubtaboutitpodcast.com. You can make a direct donation to our show because that's the way we kind of operate this show. Or you can buy some of our merch that's on there, or most importantly, sign up for our email.
We just did a little sales pitch right in the middle of this.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I love it.
I do have a comment about our email system in just a minute, but I'll wait to get to the comments because we actually had a comment about it. So, let's move on to this debate. A couple of recaps here if people did not get to sit down and watch it.
All right. So I sat down the night it happened and went through it just so you wouldn't be forced to do it. Okay.
I watch debates, guys.
I know you do, but I know you
teach
would.
Debate. I love to watch
I totally
debates.
get it,
Yeah.
but I wasn't really.
I have my grading card. I have my grading card and everybody.
Talking directly about you. You the viewer. But you too, I guess. But so right out of the I will tell you, Keller had a couple things that I think show you how long he's been mayor. So we're going to do about 4 or 5 clips, but they're relatively quick, and we'll move it along pretty quick. But it is hilarious that I want you to listen.
Or sad.
Or sad. But
Rather.
I found it to be incredibly entertaining. I think Keller is entertaining because it's so bad. Okay, so now he puts a smooth veneer on an absolute horror show.
Yeah, he's very
right?
slick.
He's just like, come on. So he starts off by talking about when he took over the city was in disarray.
Okay.
The police department was in disarray. Now, never mind the fact that they set records for murderers under him. Like it's been like his record is horrendous. Like there's no way around it, right? You just look at what he says.
He can't talk about his record.
No,
So
but he makes up a new record,
right?
Which is like things were horrible, but then I took over. And watch what he says here, because he basically says, we don't really need cops to do law enforcement. How about we just get everyday Joes and we get them to handle how things happen here? Just listen to this.
It was literally falling apart. Officers were leaving. They had lost trust. We were under a DOJ consent decree, and crime was going up. Now we've rebuilt APD, and we fight crime a different way with technology and civilians. That's why I put gunshot detection and license plate readers all over the city. And that's why we created the Community Safety Department, to be civilians that respond to calls to free up officers so they can fight violent crime.
So
if we keep using technology and civilians, we have a chance of fighting crime in the right way, and also making sure that we're dealing with the underlying issues around fentanyl and things that are the drivers of crime, including housing and homelessness. That's what we need. It's a complicated answer because it's a complicated question, but we know it's working.
No, it's not complicated in any way, shape, or form. The best part is, look, if we can just get civilians out there to start handling the crime, we're going to be just fine.
He ties it into fentanyl. I'm like, what is it, like vigilante days? Like, hey, you feel like you're Superman? Get out there.
Get out there. You take care of the fentanyl.
Wait, are you Batman? Put on your Batman suit. Go. Get out there and start fighting crime.
I got the bat signal. Get out there and fight crime. No, basically, let me just boil down that statement.
Yeah.
You do it, sucker.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he was basically saying.
It's unbelievable.
It's unreal. So
we have technology and civilians. So clean up your homelessness around your own buildings, hire your own security teams to manage your businesses.
No, so that's a great point. So I listed his first one. I'm like, oh my gosh. But then he circled back to it.
Oh, he doubles down.
He circles back to it about 20 minutes later and is like, listen, if you suckers didn't get my point that you need to fight your own crime, he even doubles down more and basically says in the soundbite you're about to hear, stop relying on me and handle it yourself, loser.
The challenge around downtown, I think this is a good one where at least those of us who were born and raised here, downtown has been a challenge for decades. And part of the problem is that we look to mayors and politicians to fix it. I do think that's part of the problem. I agree with you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, that's what you're saying.
I'm saying with our tax increment district, they get their own money and then they can decide what to do with it. The actual community, giving power to the community, I think, is leadership. That is something that I've listened and heard about for decades, and it's something no politician has ever been willing to do.
Time is up.
Because they have a job.
Mr. Sanchez,
they have
you're
a
next.
job. It's your job to do it, brother. It's your job to be like, hey, here's how we're going to fix this. Here are the police. Here are all the resources that I, as the mayor, am in charge of and get paid to administer in these different areas of the city. And it's my job to help make you safe. But you know what? Why don't you handle it? That's incredible. That just shows you he's been in office too long, has no clue what he's saying anymore, and is just basically like, I give up. I got no answers, so you solve it yourself.
Yeah, and he's like, people look to the mayor, and that's the problem. People look to the mayor and their leaders to solve the problems, and that's where the problem lies. Is that we couldn't agree more. Right now, you're doing a terrible job. This is like telling a school, like the teachers and the principal, being like, students, you're in charge of yourselves now. Teach yourselves your own curriculum.
I don't know what you expect us to do.
Test yourselves.
Oh my goodness.
Because we obviously, I don't know why you're looking to the teachers and the administration to take care of educating you.
Again,
I mean, why would we do
we are
that?
paid money, so solve it yourself, loser. It's just
we give it back to the community.
no, we give it
solve the
back to the
problems.
kids in the class. Kids, what do you think we should do?
I know.
Shut up.
Can you imagine?
You're the mayor. You're in charge of the police. You're literally in charge of billions of dollars, and yet you turn around and talk about TID districts and everything else like, oh, maybe you should handle this yourself. I mean, this guy, he is lost. I mean, this is what happens when you're around people who go touch grass. Like, go touch grass, because right now you have no idea what you're doing. And the fact that you said that, if I'm Darren, I put that on an ad.
Oh yeah.
I save that thing for the runoff. I clip that. And I have him saying, people rely on the mayor. Clip him right there and be like, yeah, we do, Mr. Mayor. And under you, the murder rate has quadrupled. Yeah, we do depend on you, and you clearly can't handle the job. It's unreal.
Yeah,
when I watched that, I started rolling on the ground laughing because I was like, this is unreal. But I got respect for him because he's incredibly entertaining when he says this stuff.
And he's with this little smile and a smirk on his face.
Oh, he's a smirker.
He's like, your kids at home. Do you let your kids at home like make the rules? I mean, I feel like as parents, it's kind of our job to guide the ship. We have the budget. Can you imagine being like to the girls? We're like, yeah, you guys go figure out groceries,
you guys deal
and
with
utilities.
it. I don't have time to feed you.
And just it's your stomach. It's your you pay the bills.
Gosh,
you go figure it out yourself.
Do it.
I mean,
you do it. You do it. He's mayor. You do it. I mean, that's what we call mayor. You do it.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
the best. Okay.
Okay. So let's move on.
Okay. So one of the people that was thought by many to be at least a contender to end up in the runoff was Louie Sanchez. He is a city councilor, a Democrat who's kind of more of a centrist than Keller, running to the right of Keller, former police officer. So as I watched him, I have to be honest, I think he either was incredibly nervous or unprepared for what happened, because I'm just going to let you listen to one of the responses, okay? And I want you to tell me what in the world he's talking about, okay? So I will tell you, this is about fighting crime. Okay, this is crime. I'll give you that. And then you try to wind your way through this word salad right here.
Needs 1,600 police officers in order to do the job correctly. When I came on the police department, there was almost 500 officers that were assigned to field services. That is way more than we have now. It's double back 30 years ago than it's been now. With the deployment of the National Guard, that means that we are in dire straits. One of the things that I'm upset about is that we took the National Guard officer or the National Guard out of their role. If you're a military person and you are wearing camos and polo shirt, you're out of your role. Yeah. Can you imagine if a police officer was deployed with a National Guard who is still in role and then can go to a domestic violence? You just doubled the amount of police officers and doubled the amount of crime fighting, making sure that they stayed in their role. Thank you.
I'm going to use this clip in my debate class of what not to do. Like, how do you, like, when you don't know the answer to the question or you don't have something prepared and you just ramble, that's what he did.
I think he's nervous. I have to say, he just starts diving off into other areas.
You have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, you have to really, in those debate situations, first of all, you're more nervous than you think you're going to be. Mm-hmm. And you have to be more simple and streamlined with your answers. When you start wandering off, because this was very tightly timed. They didn't give enough time, I don't think, enough for these guys to answer.
I think most of them that I watched was about 30 seconds. You had about 30 seconds to answer.
Or to a minute. Yeah, it just depends, right? Mm-hmm. And so he just really had trouble articulating a vision. And then one of the effective things Keller did was the kiss of death, which was, and Keller knows this. And Keller tells him, well, you're the one who supported my sanctuary city policy. Because he did. He was the vote that kept Keller's sanctuary city policy in place. He's done. Okay, right. He's done. So Louie Sanchez is not going to be a factor, I don't think. But he really had trouble. He struggled. It's hard. I mean, it is hard. Look, being a really good carrier of a message is pretty difficult. And it's about being not only good at connecting with people, but it's also about being genuine and not being a slickery slime ball, right? Anybody, you got plenty of slickery slime balls. In fact, Keller would be in that. Yes. I think in that category.
He's like we call him like a used car salesman or like a snake oil salesman.
Yeah.
And we talk about that actually in my public speaking classes, that you actually hurt your credibility when you're too like, hey,
how you doing?
Hey,
no, you're right.
I'm slick.
Even like, there can be some real genuineness.
I'm waiting for him to wink.
Right.
Give me like the double guns.
Oh, double guns. I mean, my gosh. He did do everything but the double guns. So anyway, Louie, pile on him. I just think he really struggled. And I think that the sanctuary city vote was hard.
Yeah, and he's voted for other things that show that he is not any sort of conservative mindset whatsoever. And so people that are thinking, oh no, he'll be more of a centralist. No, he won't. That's just not how he's voted.
I don't know if he will or if he won't, but it won't matter. Yeah. So okay.
It won't matter. Okay.
It won't. So then we have a little exchange of fire between Keller and Darren White. There wasn't a lot of exchange of fire, but Darren White was, I think we've had him on the show. I think Darren was prepared, did a good job. I think Darren's a good communicator. I think like anything, I think there are times when those moments, you can stilt it. At times it gets a little stilted and you're not as smooth as you'd like to be. But I think Darren did a really good job at this. And so just here's one little exchange between the two where Keller says, you're looking all the way back to 2020 when 100 plus people are getting murdered. That stuff's not happening anymore. So listen to this between Darren White and Tim Keller.
Darren's just living in like 2020. I mean, all of these stats and things that he quotes, they were true a couple of years ago. They're just not anymore. And I think that's the big challenge, because when you look at this issue, there are deep challenges that we've had for many years, many of which actually you were a part of when you were community safety department, the officers shortage, the morale problem, the DOJ. These are all problems I've had to clean up.
Oh yeah, you've done a heck of a job.
Work to actually do that, and that's what this election's about. It's about the future. It's not about 4 years ago.
Time is up.
You're quoting.
Mr. White, 30-second rebuttal.
Thank you. Yeah, let's go back, Mayor Keller. Let's go back to 2014. You like to talk about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, there were 30 murders. 2014, 30 murders in Albuquerque. 2024, 106. 3 times more.
That's 2022.
Mayor, please.
Go back and forth.
Mayor, please. Let me finish. Thank you. That is not progress. That is a crisis.
Well done. Mm-hmm. Well done. Just beat him. Now, Darren may have tweaked a year or two off those numbers. Either way, the numbers are far higher now than they ever were when he took over. That's the point. When he took over, he's presided over a staggering number of murders. So then what you constantly do in those situations, and Darren did a good job of it, is just go to the numbers. Just be very simple.
Yeah.
And just be like, here's where we were, here's where we are.
Yep.
You have presided over the most devastating explosion of violence in the history of the state of New Mexico. Congratulations. And you can't put a bow on that. You can't put lipstick on that pig, brother. You own it.
The one point with Keller that really stood out to me was when he's talking about how he still is collecting federal funds, but he's got like a sneaky way of not reporting information about violent, illegal people to ICE and to the federal government. I thought this just seemed shady and puts all of us at danger. So take a listen to this and you let me know what you think.
Of what I've been doing for the last 8 years. When this started, when Trump started separating children at the border, I stood up in defiance and I created our immigrant-friendly policy that does just that. This is a city that is safer when families feel safe to call our police department. And by law and by executive order, we do not work with ICE. And that's the right answer, so that everyone feels safe no matter who's in their home or no matter who's in their family to call APD. But also, we need strong, experienced leadership that knows how to make sure that we don't lose federal money. And that's why our policy also doesn't collect any information, none. That's why I can say we're in full compliance with every federal requirement. We share all the information we have because we don't collect any. That's what strong, experienced leadership is. I have a long track record on this issue. No one is surprised that I will always fight for immigrant families.
Okay, hold on. This is stunning to me. Okay. Do you see what he does here? He literally takes pride in, because we don't collect anything. Yeah. We don't collect. That's what strong leadership does. I want to give you an example of how dangerous what he just said was. Okay. And it is amazing to me that he, says and is so proud of this. This is why this is horrendous. Look at this headline from the Albuquerque Journal. We've talked about this story. Albuquerque brothers arrested after a weekend fatal shooting on the west side. Okay? Listen to the details on this story, and then I'll walk you through it. Bernalillo County deputies arrested two brothers in the fatal shooting of a man at a party early Sunday morning on the Mesa west of Albuquerque. Adon Munoz, 28, is charged with an open count of murder and tampering with evidence in the death of 25-year-old Michael Antonio Torboleta Romero. Munoz's brother, Andy Parra, 27, is also charged in the incident with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon and negligent use of a deadly weapon. Now, you say, well, what's that have to do with this? More details on this story, and this is where sharing nothing with ICE cost someone their life. Okay, here it is. Munoz is currently on pretrial release with an ankle monitor. On July 13th, the case in which he allegedly choked his wife in front of their child and threatened to kill both of them before firing a gun in the parking lot. Now, had Tim Keller shared the information on Munoz right there, had he shared it with ICE, Munoz would have been shipped out of the country, back to Venezuela, okay? Instead, Mr. Proud that he doesn't share any information ends up releasing this guy back out, shares nothing with ICE, he then kills someone. Okay, so his little cocksure proud routine of not sharing information with ICE causes people in our community to die. So he incorrectly goes out and says, well, you're much safer when you don't share anything with ICE. You're wrong. And this is the kind of ignorant stupidity that has infected this city for 8 years. It's why he has been a failure as a mayor. And it's one thing to be wrong and fix it. It's another thing to be wrong, double down on it, get cocky about it, and think you're smarter than everybody else in the room, that they won't go pick out a few stories here and there when it shows that your ignorance of how to operate as a mayor actually costs lives. This is horrible. And again, I'm saying it again. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. Who cares when that gun gets pointed at you by someone who shouldn't be here and someone who's very violent? You're not going to care what party you're from. It doesn't matter. His policy is bad. And again, he takes it and just treats it like, you're too stupid to realize what I'm really doing. He knows about this case. He doesn't care.
Right, he doesn't care. And I mean, Louie Sanchez backs sanctuary city policies as well. Let's keep that in mind. And again, we did have one comment. I didn't put it in here, but we had a comment from one of our viewers that were saying, listen, Darren did good on the interview and he did good in the debate, but I'm still confused on what his actual plan is. My advice is on any candidate that you're wondering what their plan is, because we feel like we have a pretty good grasp on what Darren's plan is, but it's not my job to explain his whole plan to you. Go to his website and read his actual policy plan. That's what you should do for all of these candidates. And so I know his is Darren White for mayor, but go and check out all the candidates that you're considering voting for and see where they stand on these issues. If they don't have like actual policies and plans on their website, that's a red flag. That's a huge red flag. So make sure that you agree with their plans and their policies. Make sure you get to know the candidates before you go vote for them. That's my last appeal for that. And early voting has started.
Yes.
So you can vote from 10 to 7, I believe 10 to 7, at most locations that do early voting, and that's on Monday through Saturdays. So that's actually open now. So if you want to cast your vote early, go for that. We also want to put in one little appeal for Courtney Jackson. She's up for school board.
School board, yeah.
School board, and we love her. She's done a really good job on the board, and we would love to put a little plug out there for Courtney Jackson as well. Cast a revote for her.
Okay, we're going to go through these pretty quickly because we've gone long on these couple of stories. But with the No Kings protests, they happened all over the country here. They happened here in the Albuquerque area. There was a solid turnout here in Albuquerque. All this, here we go. You got all the signs. I always enjoy reading the signs. Some of them are interesting and some of them are disappointing in the way they spell and use grammar. But not the point. So, but again, this happens, honestly, and these guys here were funny. They're from New Mexico State. And they were similar to a guy I'm about to show you a soundbite from.
Yeah.
Like, what are you here for? Well, we don't like kings, man. I don't want kings I don't like kings. Oh, okay. All right, that's fine. And so, but I want you to hear this guy from a Colorado protest. This is classic. So you'd see all kinds of this stuff where they'd ask people, hey, what do you really have a problem with? Well, this guy from Colorado really shed some light on it.
Trump's a...
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. We don't like him. That's the word around here.
Any particular reason why you don't like him?
No clue at all. I'm just going with everybody else saying.
I mean, I saw a lot of these where these like younger reporters are going out and asking people, so why are we protesting? And they're like, well, we believe in the power of protesting.
Well, they're younger. A lot of them are Republicans too.
Oh yeah, they're doing
conservatives.
it. Well,
yeah.
But they're asking even older people, not even just kids like this, but older people, and they're like, what are we doing out here? And they're like, well, we believe in the power of protesting. And we're like, okay, well, you believe in the power of protesting. What is it specifically that you're here to protest? Well, we don't like Trump. Okay, what about Trump don't you like? And this one woman was like, well, how much time do you have? And he said, I have a couple minutes, go for it. And she's like, well, for starters, and there's a long pause. And then she's like, I don't think I should talk about this right now.
Right.
And then, because they have no idea. Most of the people are like, actually, I just know that we got the email. We're supposed to be here at 10 a.m. for the No Kings protest. So
right.
anyway.
Well, and I want to talk about this because I think really the No Kings protest is meaningless. Mm-hmm. I will tell you. I just think what's going on right now, and I want to get to Els. I want to get to clip 18 here, and what I want to show you is the fact that what you've got right now, when you have a party wrapped around right now, or at least a portion of the Democratic Party wrapped around, the only thing they care about is hating Trump. That's it. It's all they care about. That's not a plan, and it's not a policy, and it's not going to win you an election. Okay, it's not. It's not going to work. So if you look at the actual numbers here, and where are people on various issues, who do they trust? Okay, and when you go to crime, Republicans have a 14-point advantage over Democrats on crime. On immigration, Republicans have an 11-point advantage on the Democrats. National security, an 8-point advantage. The economy, a 9-point advantage. Inflation, a 4-point advantage. Gun laws, a 3-point advantage. Now you get to education. There's where you see a little Democratic advantage, but most people don't vote on education as their main factor in who they vote for. And then you've got abortion, congratulations, whatever, healthcare, and climate change. Okay, but obviously the key 6 issues, or really at least the key 5 issues, all favored by Republicans because you don't have a plan. When you don't have a plan and you just decide we're going to go out there and protest, which is fine, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you don't have a plan to help people. If someone can't get to the end of the month and your response to them is Trump, they're going to go, what are you talking about? All the prices skyrocketed under Biden. How are we doing this? What's the actual plan? And believe me, plenty of people are frustrated now with Trump too. We've said the real issue with him is going to be the economy.
Right, he's got to fix the economy.
He's got to fix the economy. He's got to fix prices. You got to start to adjust to those things. Interest rates have to come down. All those things. But on the other side, the response is, well, just Trump, just Trump, just Trump. Doesn't work. Yeah. It doesn't work.
And it's unbelievable. I mean, you wake up today, guess what? There's not a king in place again. Like there hasn't been a king overlording our country in a couple hundred years. So it's just, I don't actually get it just feels very ironic to me that this is what they've made their whole thing.
Right. And the numbers show that it's rough, right? So initially it looked like, especially through the betting markets, Democrats were going to take over the House. Mm-hmm. And now, not so much. Here's Harry Enton.
So, if you go back 6 months ago, you go back to April, Cape Baldwin, what were we looking at? Well, we were looking at the Democrats with a very clear shot of taking control of the U.S. House of Representatives, according to the Kalshi prediction market odds. We saw them in an 83% chance. But those odds have gone plummeting down. Now we're talking about just a 63% chance, while the GOP's chances up like a rocket, up like gold, up from 17% to now a 37% chance. So we'll look like a pretty clear, likely Democratic win in the House come next year has become much closer to a toss-up at this point, although still slightly leaning Democratic.
Okay, so that shows you these numbers are sliding. And it doesn't, the whole solution of we're going to base a party on being opposition. We're just going to oppose Trump. Whatever he does, we're going to oppose him. We've talked a million times about the fact that when you do that, you end up on the 20 side of an 80-20 issue, right? Mm-hmm. None of this works. And so any political party, they're bad at self-analysis. Republicans are too. We've sat in plenty of rooms with angry Republicans who say ridiculous things, right? And they're like, oh, we need to do, you just hear stuff and you go, you got to be kidding. Come on.
Right.
We've got to assess our weaknesses and start to fix them if you're in a political party, no matter which party you're in. And there are always people within your own party that are willing to do that analysis. And the question is, what do you do to those people? Do you bring them in and say, you're right? Or do you try to eliminate them and cull them from the party? And that's what they're doing right now.
That's right. Your boy Fetterman.
My guy.
Fellow hoodie-wearing.
Fellow hoodie guy.
Definite Democrat, though. Let's keep that perfectly clear. But
absolutely is.
Okay, but let's just listen to what he says. He's talking about how it's like the biggest challenge right now for the Democratic Party. One of the biggest challenges is like earning the trust of white men. And can they get that trust back? And here's what he had to say.
How do Democrats win back white men like yourself?
I don't know. And truthfully, I'm not sure if that's possible, to be honest. I think that's been seriously eroding for a while. And in some cases, in the conversations I've had, a lot of people, they don't even want to say it publicly, but they just feel like, the other side seems like it's like men, that men's the problem. Men are to blame. Or their masculinity is toxic, or unless you're able to conform to our very strict kinds of definition of what we think's appropriate, well then, hey, I'm going to find an alternative, and they've done that. That's absolutely true. And once we've kind of turned their back on that demographic, it's going to be difficult to rebuild and replace that with those voters, because I think that migration has been ongoing phenomenon for several years, and that was been in front and center, in part of the election in 24.
Okay, well said. And so that comment goes out by Fetterman. 24 hours later, this article appears in Axios. Scoop: Dems plot Fetterman ouster. Mm-hmm. Get him out. Mm-hmm. Get him out. Okay, so this is what the article says, or at least a couple details on what the article says here. And it says, top Democrats in Pennsylvania maneuvering to run against John Fetterman in the 2028 primary contest, threatening to tear the party apart in one of the biggest battleground states in the nation. Okay, and then you've got some why it matters and all this. Democrats haven't flipped a GOP Senate seat since Fetterman did that in 2022. He's still popular in Pennsylvania with Pennsylvania voters, even as Democrats turn on him over the softened approach toward President Trump. I want to take a little issue with that. John Fetterman is never going to be a Republican. He's not a moderate. He's not. He's a strong liberal. He is. 90% of the time he votes with the Democrats. He's just willing to say, wait a minute, you have to get in touch with these voters. We need to win. So if you get him out of your party, you're crazy. And he's been a surprise to me. I remember going back to 2022, we looked at him, we're like, he shouldn't be running, and and then we saw him come out, and it was just, he didn't seem like he was well. Obviously, he's recovered, and you can hear him there. He still struggles from time to time a little bit, but you can tell he's with it, knows what's going on. I think he's somebody that the Democrats desperately need. And if you go and push him aside and try to primary him and get him out, you're going to lose that seat. Let me guarantee you that. You're going to lose the seat. So you either get Fetterman, who votes with you 90% of the time, or you get a Republican who votes with you 0% of the time. Mm-hmm. But they're going to go after him.
Wow. It's interesting to see how that will happen. Okay, well, speaking of another race, we've been following the New Jersey governor's race. We kind of, it's kind of a correlation to our state in some ways, just because there's similar things as far as like how many people vote for Trump. It's a blue state for all intents and purposes. And
very much a blue state.
You have a guy, Ciattarelli, who this is his third attempt to run for governor. He's come close a couple of times before. Here, they're kind of going back and forth, Mark. It looks like to me a little bit that, they say, watch, he's climbing, maybe not so fast. Maybe the hill is just too high still to get to. So here's the latest coming out of that race that we wanted to share with you guys.
Okay, what does history tell us? We look at the polling data here, but I think that there's a key nugget from history to understand why Mikey Sherrill should be favored in this race and why it's an uphill climb for Jack Ciattarelli. You go back and you look at who was the last Republican to win a gubernatorial race in the great state of New Jersey when there was a Republican president. You got to go all the way back. You got to go 40 years back to Tom Kaine, who, of course, was the massively popular incumbent, in order to find the last time that there was a Republican-elected governor of New Jersey when there was a Republican president. The bottom line is this, Mr. Berman. The polling right now favors Mikey Sherrill. The history favors Mikey Sherrill. That doesn't mean Jack Ciattarelli can't win, but it certainly means at this particular point that Mikey Sherrill's in the driver's seat. And of course, she'll make sure that there's a gas attendant who fills up her car in New Jersey because they cannot fill it up themselves.
Back in 1985, as you know, New Jersey was also a red state.
That is exactly right. It's a red state, and at this particular point, it is a blue state, and one that Jack Ciattarelli has an uphill climb in order to win come November.
Harold,
so
thank you very
we'll
much.
see, because New Jersey I remember election night 4 years ago, Jackie Chitz, as I call him. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, I thought we had a shot, and it didn't look like he had a shot going into it. So we'll see what happens. New Jersey is definitely sliding right again, but it is still very much a blue state, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if he can close that gap here in the next couple of weeks. But if you're expecting to go into election night, the first Tuesday in November, and win the governorship in Virginia and the governorship in New Jersey, if you got one of the two, you'd be thrilled with that.
Right.
But you're not going to get both, I don't think.
Okay.
And you probably won't get either.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep our eyes on that. All right. Let's get to a couple of you guys' comments before we wrap it up today. With this one, first one comes in, and I liked the fact that this person wrote this because I can help explain a little bit.
Yeah.
This comes in from Stretch. Stretch says
Stretch.
He says, Thursday, it's 5:15, and I just got the email notification about your Tuesday show. Seems like a really long delay. I view every episode and would like to be more current. Does production editing really take that long? Okay. So to answer that question, our show comes out on Wednesdays, not on Tuesdays. I think we record sometimes on Tuesdays, but we don't ever drop it on Wednesday until Wednesday. We try to record on Wednesdays. The only time we wouldn't do that is if there's like we can't be here or something to that degree. But we record on Wednesday. We drop it usually on Wednesday afternoons, and then we send out an email the following day on Thursdays. That's just kind of the way we do it. And then we also drop a show on Sunday, usually Sunday late afternoons, early evening for Sundays, and then we put that email out on Monday. So that's kind of the plan. That's how that works. So no, I don't think you're getting a really long delayed email, but if you want to just go and find our shows, look for us on Sundays and on Wednesdays, and you'll have no problem finding us.
Yeah, and go to our YouTube channel. They're all listed right there. And then, of course, our shows are listed on our podcast platform as well, especially on your iPhone or anything like that. They're all listed in order on Spotify. Yep.
And if you subscribe on YouTube or on Apple or Spotify, it automatically goes into your own feed. So you should be getting the latest episodes regardless of even if you haven't signed up for our emails. Make sure you subscribe and you should get kicked in. Okay, this one I put in Jack Oddfellow. I just thought it was funny. This was when we were talking about signs. And people we were talking with Darren White about political signs and all that. And Jack Oddfellow says signs don't vote.
Yep.
And again, you're in good company with the people that we used for your campaign that, I kept pushing for signs, and they were like, signs don't win elections.
Nope.
So Jack apparently agrees with that philosophy. Then we have we had a lot of positive remarks about Darren White, but I just pulled two. Troy says here, Darren White, vote for common sense change. And then it says, Barbara says, he has my vote, Darren White. We need his help and the change. Yep. So thanks you guys for all of you that wrote in and took a little bit of time to tell us your thoughts on the last couple of episodes. We really appreciate it. Keep those coming.
Okay. All right. We're going to end with game day. Here we go. Real quick. First off, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I got a little bit of a game desert right now. We haven't seen a tremendous amount of action through there.
It's hunting season, guys.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right. But you can't hunt where we've got these cameras.
I swear these animals all talk and they know it's hunting season.
Yeah, they're like, we're going
And
underground.
I also think we got a note once that said that the bears don't hibernate here. They leave. I don't know if that's true or not, but somebody wrote to me and said, hey,
I don't know.
New Mexico bears don't actually hibernate here. They press out of here.
To where?
They go to Cancun.
Mexico?
Yeah,
what are you talking
they're on their
about?
first flight down to Cancun.
Are you serious? Where would they go?
I don't hunt bears.
You've seen the size of these bears. How far are they going to go? They're not going to make it from Angel Fire. They're not going to make it to Eagle Nest Lake before they're going to be like, this is too much.
I don't know. We need to actually find a bear expert that can tell us that. But that was one of the comments.
There's no way.
I just think that the hunting is going on. You do hear. I'm sure they all talk.
Yeah, they talk.
And they have their little meetings, and they're like, "Listen, the rifles are out, people.
Rifles are out. Lay low. Lay low.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, the Coyote brothers came into town. I have not seen two coyotes together on our cameras before. I've seen one coyote come through, but this is two coyotes together.
So glowing eyes. It's like a cartoon right there.
It definitely is. And believe me, I've had some experience in the mountains with multiple coyotes. And when there's a coyote kill, you hear it like nothing you've ever heard before. It's crazy. All right. We also got Bobcat that came through. Good sized Bobcat. He kind of works his way on through. He's good sized fella right here.
He's good size with his no tail.
Yeah, with his little bobtail.
He pauses for you. He looks like the size of a llama when you first look at that. I was like, he's just not a llama, just walking across.
A llama walking through. Yeah, that wasn't bad. Now, this last one, I'm sorry. You're talking about hunting season. I'll tell you
this guy
what.
hasn't got the message that it's hunting season. He's there posing for you.
He is one of the best looking bucks I've seen up there in at least 6 months. Look at him.
Yeah. He's a stunner.
And then watch, he'll look right at the camera like, Mark, what do you need? And I'm like, well, I just want you to give me a quick turn to the camera and we're just going to get a quick pose. Thanks, pal. And then there it is. And he looks good. I mean, what a gorgeous, I don't want him to get taken down. I'm not a hunter and I can understand. I'll eat anything though. I'm willing.
Oh, I know
and you guys want
are.
to send some like wild game meat, I'm in.
What is the animal that Luke killed again or hunted?
An oryx.
An oryx?
An
Oryx.
Oryx?
Oryx?
Oryx, yeah.
So our friends Melissa and Clint, they're going to give you some of that meat, by the way.
Oh, really?
They want you to try
Oryx
it.
meat?
Yeah, oryx
I'll
meat.
do it.
Their
Yeah, I love it.
7-year-old son killed an oryx by himself.
Yeah.
Is that real?
Yeah, it's true.
It's impressive,
And
too.
I've seen the picture.
It's a good picture.
This little guy.
We should have
Look
gotten
at
the
him.
picture.
Yeah, where's the picture?
Oh, we should
None
show
of
us
us have
picture.
the picture, but
Well,
he's
when you
literally
actually,
7.
we'll ask permission
All right,
to use
I'll
this
add
picture
the
'cause he's
picture
only
in right
7.
now.
Well,
So here comes the picture right here. Okay, there it is. Good looking oryx, no doubt. I'll take the backstrap, the tenderloin. Let's do it.
It was a big animal.
Oh, that's
Well,
huge.
it's
Look
They
at
have so
How
much
does
of
a
it.
7-year-old kill this thing?
They have so much of the meat.
Meat? Oh, they're going to be
They have
eating
so much.
oryx for like 6 years?
She
Yeah,
said
it's
that she's
frozen.
going to share it with you. She's
Okay.
like, she's got ground beef and some steaks.
I love it.
And I
I'll
said,
take both.
Mark will be thrilled
Yeah.
to taste it, and you can give a little review on
Oh,
that.
I will absolutely give a review on that.
Okay.
I want to try moose too. I haven't had moose.
Okay.
Gross.
No,
that
you think
sounds
that's
gamey.
gross?
I think
I've
it's
heard it's
gonna-
good.
I don't think it's
I
good.
heard it's good.
Who told you it's good?
A lot of people in Alaska eat it.
Oh, people from Alaska calling you, Mark, and saying, "Hey, the moose
Yeah.
up here, real
Hey,
good, real
moose are
tasty." That's not happening.
delicious.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I think it's fantastic.
I
wanna
think
try
that you just, if there is an animal that somebody can hunt, you want to try the meat.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to do bear. I hear bear's pretty gross.
Okay.
Pretty greasy.
Also, it's weird that people eat bears.
Bear? Yeah.
It's kinda weird.
You
They're
kind
not
of look
meant
at
for
the
that.
diet. I'm kind of into the diet. So if you like, bears will eat anything, right? So I'm kind of like,
Well, I thought they
I'm
were
not
like more
interested
like
in that.
berries and fish.
Well, yeah, they do. But if you leave trash out, the bears are like, yeah, let's do this.
Oh.
All right. So you got like a moose who's like, hey, I'm going to eat down of that.
Yeah, that's a.
I'm going to eat the old.
Come on, you like shrimp, and shrimp are bottom feeders. Let's be honest here. You don't care what an animal eats to eat
a good
it.
point.
It just has to taste good to you, and then
maybe
you'll
you're
eat
right.
it.
Yeah,
Come
probably
on.
right.
I just blew
Yeah.
that theory right out of the water.
You really did.
All right. Thanks you guys so much for spending your Sunday with us and part of your week with us. We appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe on our YouTube channel and on Spotify and Apple, and we will see you back here on Wednesday. Take care and God bless.
You've been listening to the No Doubt About It podcast. We hope you've enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at No Doubt About It Podcast.
No doubt about it.
The No Doubt About It podcast is a Choose Adventure Media production. See you next time on No Doubt About It.
There is no doubt about it.